Okay, welcome to yet another episode of the Let's Netflix and Chill podcast. I'm your host, Reese Chanson, and today we're looking at Matt Ralph's Lucid, a crowd work comedy special, basically. This is the first of its kind on Netflix, I have to say. Um, I've seen a lot of if you are a fan of TikTok, you know this guy is excelling on TikTok. And if you've watched Wild and Out, MTV show, you've come across this guy. He's adored and admired by women of all ages, mostly old women. I don't know if it's true that he has a thing for old women or not, or it's just an allure he sort of, I don't know, made for himself in a way. That's the vibe I've been getting since discovering this guy, that he's actually good at comedy. And I have to say that it for me it was a first. I've seen a few clips of his. I've seen a few, I don't know, I think I've seen two specials of his work, maybe two or one, I don't know. I think he has a special on Netflix, Natural Selection, I think, if I'm not mistaken by the name. Anyway, that's not important. So with this one, it's about an hour at most, and the beauty of it is it has a theme. Like, it's not your traditional crowd work type of vibe where you just ask random people random questions and it just builds up to what it becomes. With this, he sort of told the crowd that the theme is about dreams. Dreams could pertain to nightmares you're having, dreams of progress, dreams of annoyance, dreams of I think dreams of annoyance falls into nightmares. Like reoccurring dreams or nightmares, I'm saying that again, or dreams in a professional scale, dreams in a progression scale, whether you want to progress in your work, in your relationship, all that stuff. That was a theme of his crowd work special, and the whole concept or the whole ideology was he was gonna say a few of his dreams and a few of his aspirations and all that, and then the crowd would essentially do the same thing, and he would feed off it and create comedy out of that, which in itself is a brilliant thing. And when you think about the idea of just standing in front of a crowd for an hour with no written material, just an idea that you want to talk about dreams, and you cook up a special for that. That in itself is impressive, but he's not the first guy to do crowd work. But he is the first guy to actually take it to Netflix, to actually, put together a special, like from start to finish. You've seen a bunch of YouTube specials where a comedian does crowd work, and it's taken from a variety of shows, and it's put together by some guy. Sometimes even the comedian himself is not sort of backing that ideology or backing the special, the somewhat special that's floating around in his name. But with this, man literally went to Netflix. They gave him a bunch of money just to talk to fans about dreams. And the old special, crazy dreams, very crazy dreams. And I don't want to, I usually don't like spoiling, specials, because I feel like a comedy special is not like a movie. Yes, a movie, you could watch a movie and it can make you feel some type of way because of your past relationships and your past events, that so that if it has a certain way that resonates with you. But then of course with the modern day movie, it's all about superheroes, so you don't actually have that feeling of like, oh, I'm part of this experience, I'm part of this. So I could spoil the shit out of those ones, because with comedy, sometimes telling someone or retelling someone's joke doesn't necessarily resonate well, and it sort of takes away from the humor of the joke itself. But I will say, it's not for me. Matt Ralph is a funny comedian who's done a bunch of great stuff. I've seen his TikToks, I've seen him on Wild and Out, I've seen a few of his specials. I'm just saying, this was not for me. I'm not gonna deny the fact that there are moments where I laughed. Yes, and I'm not gonna be surprised that there's some silly professions in the Americas that are beyond my comprehension. That someone can literally get paid to do certain things. I'm not gonna disclose that, but I think you will find that it's just weird. Like a daughter watches her mother do or teach other people some bedroom activities, and she sort of manages her YouTube or her site where she teaches people how to execute bedroom activities, and and that's normal. Imagine Just walking into your parents' bedroom by mistake and you find them having coitus or doing something sex related. That is gross. Now, to this young lady, to sit behind a camera, to advertise, to cut and edit, to put clips and sounds and all that, while her mother is doing the act of bedroom stuff, is it's haram, fam. I'm not Muslim, but that is just, it's haram. I couldn't think of a word that would fit well. Now, that has nothing to do with Mount Ref. It probably has something to do with the audience. That is the problem. Because he asked a woman a question on the audience, and the vulgar, the disgust that came out of that woman's mouth was astonishing. I don't know if people are actually going on shows to throw their filth in our faces. That's just gross. But it was still hilarious. I'm not gonna lie, I giggled. But I will say, a crowd work special is just not for me. It's not. It's nice when you see a few a minute clips, 30-second clips on TikTok or on YouTube Shorts where you're scrolling on your device. You're like, oh, this is hilarious. This is fun. This is dope. It's fun. But sitting there watching an hour of this shit, nah. Nope. It's not for me. It's really not for me. But I'm not gonna be a hypocrite and say I was pissed the whole time and raged. No, I giggled. I laughed. There are moments where I found this remotely funny, but it just didn't deliver the Matt Ralph that I know. He didn't give out what I know he's capable of. Now, crowd work is mostly dependent on the crowd itself. Yes, you could be witty like he is. He's a witty guy, and he was coming out with quick jokes on the spot. That's fair. But crowd work is solely dependent on the audience itself. The kind of people you have in the front lane or the back lane or further away down the alley of your show, what kind of people they are. And if they're not, they don't have great stories or respond a certain way, even if you're funny, even if you're witty, it just doesn't sit well with the audience that'd be watching from afar like I was watching this special. I hope that makes sense. But I don't know. I'm not gonna say it's a thumbs down, it's a thumbs up, but I think I should start this new thing where I'm gonna start rating things out of 5. But out of 5, I feel like it's a little limited. But if I put it out of 10, it's a broader spectrum, and 5 above would make it great, and 5 below would make it shit. But the same would apply if I say something is a 3, 3 below is rubbish, 3 and up is decent. So if let's put it out of 5. If I'm saying I'm rating this out of 5, I'm gonna give it a solid 2. Why 2? What's stopping it from being a 3 and average? What's stopping it from being 4 and 5 is the fact that the crowd messed it up for me. I feel like they weren't, you know, giving him more to work with. I felt like they were just hell bent on saying ridiculous shit. Or he told them to say ridiculous shit. And I felt like there were moments where he was almost flustered. He wasn't himself. I felt like he was even trying too hard to make the jokes work. The little story that he would tell at a moment had no point or had no humor in them. Like there's a lady in the special who said she had a reoccurring dream where a scary witch or something, I forgot what was chasing her. And every time in the dream, she had two choices. The choice one would be to face this monstrous thing coming towards her or jump off a cliff. And every time in the dream, she would jump off a cliff. And unbeknownst to her, she would actually leap off her bed, and her husband would always carry her back into the bed. Now, of course, he did make a joke that the guy is literally probably pushing her off the bed and she thinks he's leaping off. And then he started telling jokes about, I don't know, it's not a joke, a little stupid story about him, having moving to scary house that was scary, and he lived in a computer room, a small room, and there was this creature that came up to his face with its mouth open, and he little joke about, a little dirty joke, and it just wasn't him. I feel. Now that was entertaining. Please let us hang out yet another time. Remember to like and